I am Hercules, son of Zeus, and for many, my name is tied to feats of strength, the impossible labors, the battles I fought, and the monsters I overcame. But there's more to my story than just the physical victories. Perhaps, if you look closely, you'll find a tale about resilience, transformation, and confronting the darkest parts of yourself. You see, my 12 labors weren't just tasks handed down by the gods. They were challenges to my spirit, to my mind, to my very sense of self. And each labor represents something deeper, something psychological that many of us face whether we know it or not. Labor 1, the Nemean lion. I killed a lion whose skin no weapon could pierce. At first glance, it might seem like just a fight against a fearsome beast, but in truth, the lion represented my fear, my own sense of vulnerability. We all have that beast inside us, those fears we can't escape, those insecurities that seem impenetrable, but facing them head on, that's where true strength lies. My victory over the lion was not just a triumph of muscle, but of confronting what seemed undefeatable. Labor 2, the Lernaean Hydra. Then came the Hydromony heads, growing back no matter how many I cut off. It's the perfect symbol of the problems in life that don't seem to ever go away, no matter how hard we try to solve them. This was a lesson for me. No matter how many times we face a challenge, sometimes the solution isn't to destroy the problem outright. Sometimes it's about knowing that every head we cut off needs to be met with strategy, patience, and persistence. Just like in life, some battles require more than brute strength. They require wisdom. Labor 3, the Ceryneian hind. Next, I had to capture the Ceryneian hind, a creature of unbelievable speed. This task taught me something crucial about balance. It wasn't about overpowering the hind, it was about patience, about knowing when to chase and when to wait. In our lives, we often chase after things that seem just beyond our reach. But we must learn that sometimes the key isn't to rush or force things. It's about understanding the right timing. Labor 4, the Erymanthian boar. The boar was wild, unpredictable. It mirrored the chaos in life, those things that seem impossible to control. Wrestling with the boar taught me that not everything in life can be subdued or tamed in the traditional sense. Some things you have to manage. You have to acknowledge their wildness, but you can still find a way to coexist with them. Control isn't always the answer. Sometimes it's about harmony. Labor 5, the Augean stables. Cleaning the Augean stables with their years of accumulated filth was a task that no one thought I could achieve. But this labor was not just about physical labor. It was a reminder that sometimes in life, we are faced with situations that seem too overwhelming to tackle. But the solution may lie in thinking differently, finding a new perspective, even a creative way to address the problem. I diverted rivers to clean those stables. Sometimes, solving problems is about finding innovative, unexpected solutions. Labor 6, the Stymphalian birds. The Stymphalian birds attacked with their sharp, poisonous feathers. They are a symbol of negative thoughts, those inner voices that attack our self-esteem, our peace of mind. It's not always easy to fight them, but I learned to face them head-on, using tools and strategies that didn't just involve brute force. We all need strategies to deal with our inner critics, our fears, our doubts. Sometimes the answer is not to fight them directly, but to outsmart them. Labor 7, the Cretan bull. The Cretan bull was fierce, but what struck me about this labor was the connection between taming the bull and finding control within ourselves. It was a metaphor for mastering our impulses, our urges, and the chaos within us. Sometimes, it's not about defeating something external. It's about controlling what's inside us, our impulses, our reactions, and how we choose to act in the face of adversity. Labor 8, the mares of Diomedes. The mares were wild and fed on human flesh. To tame them, I had to confront the dark and destructive elements of my world. This labor taught me that sometimes, to overcome something dangerous, we need to confront its source, the origin of its madness or chaos. I had to feed Diomedes to his own mares. It's a reminder that to address destructive forces, we sometimes have to look at what feeds them and confront those dark parts of ourselves or our world. Labor 9, the belt of Hippolyta. Obtaining the belt of Hippolyta, the Amazonian queen, was a labor that required negotiation and understanding, not just force. It taught me that sometimes battles can be won through diplomacy, empathy, and mutual respect. It's a reminder that conflict is not always the path forward. Sometimes, understanding and cooperation can achieve what fighting never could. Labor 10. The Cattle of Geryon. Labor 10. The Cattle of Geryon. The cattle of Geryon were guarded by a three-bodied monster. This labor was about overcoming the obstacles that seem insurmountable. It's a lesson that in life, the things that seem the most difficult, the most layered, can often be overcome with persistence and the right mindset. It's not about fighting every battle. It's about knowing where to direct your energy. Labor 11. The Apples of the Hesperides. Retrieving the apples guarded by a dragon seemed impossible, and at times I questioned why I was tasked with it. But this labor taught me about the search for something valuable that is not always within reach. It's a metaphor for the desires in our lives, those things we want deeply, but cannot easily attain. It reminds us that some treasures require patience, sacrifice, and sometimes the help of others. Labor 12. Cerberus. And finally, capturing Cerberus, the three-headed dog of the underworld. This task required me to confront death itself, to go into the realm of darkness and bring something back. It was a reminder that we must face the ultimate fears in our lives, those we often try to bury deep inside us. In facing our mortality, in confronting our deepest fears, we can find peace, we can find meaning. Hercules. These 12 labors were not just about heroism, nor were they about feats of physical strength alone. They were about confronting the internal challenges we all face, the fears, the doubts, the struggles. And the truth is, each of us has our own labors to endure. You may not have to wrestle with a lion or capture a wild bull, but you will face your own battles. The key is to remember that within each challenge lies a lesson, a chance to grow stronger, not just on the outside, but within.
Lost in the woods of yesterday, stories where I used to play. Giants and dragons fade away. Now I'm searching for the way, wishing wells and magic beams, secrets hidden in the seams, castles crumbling, losing gleams. All these fragments of my dreams. Once upon a mind we leave behind, fairy tales no longer blind, truth and tales so intertwined. Once upon